Alex here is going to be the annoying little brother. So, Amanda, I'm going to need you to read the first line, then you said Alex, and then Alex will be reading the next line and back and forth and so on, okay? So, and I want you to say it real loud with as much expression as you can, okay? This is your line.
I'm an annoying little brother. I have the best big sister in the world.
Good.
He follows me around as soon as I get home. I want to spend as much time as I can with her.
Aww. So sweet.
He always copies everything I say. She's so great, I want to be like her.
Very nice.
He draws and scribbles all over the wall. Here's a picture of her. Isn't it beautiful?
Very nice.
He loves to make a big mess in my room. I love playing hide and go seek, but I wonder why she never finds me. He eats all my chicken nuggets. She shares with me with her favorite food. But he never touches my salad. So I do the same for her.
Very nice.
He makes a snowman with chocolate fudge and ice cream. Yummy! He crashes my pajama parties and scares all of my friends. Her friends love me. I always make them laugh. But we always get him back. Why are they still laughing?
Dressed up like a girl is why.
He's a real pain in the neck. She's fun, she's great, and she taught me everything I know. And even though he never seems to do anything right, she's so smart and never does anything wrong. I just can't imagine life without him. I love you too, sis.
Aww. Everyone give him a big round of applause. Great job. Now, great job, guys. Did you notice their voices were very good, loud. You projected your voice well. And Alex, he did a lot of body movement like this. That was his body movement. Very good, but you might want to choose a few extra movements instead of just the one movement. But it was very nice little robot dance right there. Now, so you guys have just learned a little bit about the signature, about getting ready to speak. So I want you guys to start going home and practicing a little. When you have your stories, practice reading it aloud, either to your family members or maybe even in the mirror so you can try your voice inflections, because as a speaker, if you're a good speaker, you can do a lot of great things in the future. Because if you're a great speaker, people will ask for you to come and inspire more people. Because your job as a published author from now on is to inspire all the other students and all the other kids who also want to become writers. So with all the Harmony schools out there, we want to get these books out in all the other libraries so other kids can read your story, and they can write you fan letters, and you can inspire them as well. Now, the third thing that I want to share with you is to be a great writer. I want to just share with you some little writing tips. I know that you've already worked on your stories, but I want to share this with you because as you progress, you might start writing more stories, and maybe writing your own individual book and become published authors with more and more books. So, here are a few little tips that I want to give you, and I hope you guys can remember this. If you have a sheet of paper, you can write it down. If not, just remember some of these tips. Number one, when I write little children's books or short stories, I start with the end first. Okay? I start with the end first. The reason why, and not all writers do this, this is just my personal tip, my personal secret. If I come up with a great ending, even if the rest of my story is just okay, people will think the whole thing is great. Like, I'll give you an example. You know the story, you guys like movies? You guys like to watch movies at all? Anyone? Yeah. Well, have you ever seen, many years ago, there was this movie with Bruce Willis in it called The Sixth Sense. I don't know if you've ever seen that at all. Some of you, a couple of you. Well, that movie, okay, the movie was a little bit, it was okay. It was a pretty good movie. It was kind of slow. And there was this guy named Bruce Willis, and he walks around and talks to this little boy all the time, and he gives him advice and everything. And, it was pretty good. It was okay. You teachers see the movie? But anyway, at the end of the movie, like somehow you saw Bruce Willis, you saw that guy, the man, and he's laying down, and you see blood on his back. You're like, oh, why does he have blood on his back? Oh my gosh, he's not really alive. He's a ghost. He's and so you thought he was alive the whole time, but you find out at the very end, there's a surprise ending. You're like, oh, no way. You tricked me. I can't believe that was the ending because I thought it was something else. Now, you know what happened in my mind when I watched that movie? I was like, that went from a good, decent movie to a great movie. Okay, because the ending was surprising. So, when you read a lot of books, or when you see movies, when you listen to stories, and then something really interesting happens at the end. It's either really funny, or exciting, or scary, or surprising, but it has a strong ending, you think the whole thing is good. So if you can come up with a great ending first, you write the story to support it, build it up, and then you have that surprise ending or that funny ending, then you've got a great story. Try that. Try it. Think. If you want someone to feel something, okay, then you give them the opposite. So if some of you might remember my presentation I gave last year, I started off, I said, I was born in a country called Cambodia, and there was a war, and the war got so bad that BAM! I don't know if you remember that. And I started off talking kind of soft and slowly, and then I screamed real loud. So I did the opposite. If I want to scare you with a loud sound, then what I have to do is the opposite. So I slow down before I come up with a big climax. You see? So you always try to trick people to think you're going in a different direction, and then you can surprise them with something. Okay? So try to think opposites. Give people something that they don't expect, and people will appreciate it because people love to read stories that they didn't know what the ending was going to be. If it's too obvious and you know what's going to happen, it's kind of boring. But if you come up with something that people don't expect, then it's more interesting. Okay? So that's tip number one. Tip number two, when you write, add a little bit of detail in it. It doesn't have to be a lot of detail. If you have too much detail, it might be drowning in detail. It might be kind of weak. But if every now and then you add, like let's say, instead of saying I walked down to the store, you could say I walked down to the new HEB, down off, I-10 and Campbell or something like that. You can say very specific names of streets or a name of a store or a name of a product. But if you come up with specific details, but don't use it all the time. If you use it throughout the whole writing, it's like you're drowning in it. Okay? To make it special, use details every here and there, and that will make it special. And a lot of times that's humorous. Because if people relate to what you say, then they're going to be more interested in your writing. Okay? So don't keep it too general. Put specifics every now and then throughout your story. Okay? 3, the last one, this is the most important tip that I want to give you. The secret to become a really great writer quickly is modeling. Or, another word you could use is copying. Okay? Now, if you read other writers, okay, my favorite children's book writer is Shel Silverstein. Oh. I love his poems. My favorite book of his is The Giving Tree. That's because the ending is so touching. Such a great ending that it makes me love the whole book. Now, he writes simply, a lot of easy words, but there's a lot of depth a lot of humor inside his writing. So I try to